Good, happy Sunday morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to Politics with Riley King. Let's get started. O'Brien led two meetings of conservative House members, top activists prior to budget defeat. Former New Hampshire House Speaker Bill O'Brien this week led two meetings of between 40 and 50 consecutive House members and activists prior to the defeat of the current House leadership budget. Bill aimed to take guns away from people at risk of dangerous behavior. Massachusetts lawmakers are weighing legislation aimed at taking guns out of the hands of those deemed at a risk of hurting themselves or others. The bill would let family members and police ask a judge to impose what support call an extreme risk protective order against individuals experiencing a personal crisis and at risk of dangerous behavior. The order would let police temporarily restrict the individual's access to firearms. The intentional order would remain for 10 days, after which an individual could petition to have the order removed. A judge could agree or could extend the order for up to a year. Supporters point in part to suicides among veterans, many of whom use guns to kill themselves. The bill, which gun rights activists oppose, could help avoid some of those suicides by grieving family members more power to intervene, they say. The bill sponsors Democrat Rep. David Linsky said there have been a number of cases where family members knew a relative had a mental health problem and sought to have weapons removed from the home, but were told by police they didn't have the authority. Massachusetts isn't alone. Supporters say 20 states are currently weighing some form of the legislation. A handful of states already have similar measures on the books, including California, which passed a law in the wake of a 2014 mass shooting that allows family members and police to ask a judge to issue an emergency protective order for those at risk of harming themselves or others. Jim Wallace, executive director of Gun Owner Action League of Massachusetts, said the legislation is a misguide. Wallace said lawmakers should focus more on the issues of mental health and not limit access to firearms in state which already has some restrict gun laws in the country. He said there are other ways for individuals to hurt themselves besides using a gun. Linsky said that argument is hypothetical. He said the goal of the bill is to take away guns and get them treatment rather than leaving them with their guns and hoping they get treatment. Linsky said he's hopeful the bill could pass during a current 2-year legislative period that begin in January. He said he already has 32 co-sponsors in the 160-member House. Haley says Syria regime change is intervenable. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, has told CNN that removing Syrian President Bashar al-Assad from power is a priority, cementing an extraordinary U-turn in the Trump administration's stance on the embattled leader. Senate confirms Neil Gorsuch to Supreme Court. After a historic rule change, the Senate voted mostly along party lines, 54 to 45, to confirm Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court as its 113th justice. Gorsuch, 49, who served as a federal judge on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver, was nominated to the branch by President Trump in January. And that does it for politics right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. See you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics. Bye, everyone.